I'm the regional sales manager with Welbilt, and the brand, our brand today that we're going to talk about is MerryChef. MerryChef is the market-leading accelerated cooking oven platform. Many people will be familiar with it from our customers such as Costa Coffee, Subway Sandwich, Marks and Spencer's, Wild Bean Cafe, and a number of the larger Hilton, Marriott hotel groups. So it's a well-established format, becoming more and more popular. It offers consistent high-speed cooking. It is ventless in operation, so we don't have to run it under a canopy. We're situated in a kind of kitchen environment at the moment, but we don't have to run the MerryChef under a canopy. And the model that today we're going to look at is the MerryChef E2S. So the model I have here runs on a standard 240 volt 13 amp plug. So we're straight kind of plug and play. As I say, ventless in operation. If we come over, we can just get a look at the unit itself. So as I say, well, you'll see this on the high street at the moment. We've just done a big rollout with Costa Coffee. So a lot of people will be familiar with seeing it from the Costa franchise. What we're going to do today is we'll have a little run through the kind of operation of the oven, what it does, the style, some of the styles of menu we can do, some of this, just scrape the surface of some of the food styles that we can do through this oven, and have a chat with Matthew, who's going to join us in terms of the types of customers, the types of CaterKwik customers that this might work for. CaterKwik are one of our platinum partners. All of the staff at CaterKwik who you would speak to on the phone have been trained in MerryChef, so they have a good understanding of the range of ovens. They've got a good understanding of the challenges that you would have in your business, and they are great to speak to in terms of trying to understand what's the best fit. We have a range of ovens. We have the E3 model, the E2S, which we have here today, the E4, the E5. So as you see what we do today, then you can develop the conversation further to understand what is the right fit for what you hope to achieve. So in terms of the MerryChef itself, what is it? So it's an accelerated cooking oven. So what that means is that it sits as an oven for us. So it is a 275-degree oven, but as you can see, it's completely designed for front of house operations. So it's completely, safe to touch. There's no, you're not going to be burned using it. It's completely safe to have out there next to the coffee machine, in a traditional front of house environment, as well as, in the back of house. So completely safe for operation. As you can see in terms of the size and so on, the footprint 14 inches. And one of the reasons that this is such a leading piece of equipment is that for that footprint size, we are able, because of our developments with keeping the oven walls cool and the insulation, we are able to have a 12-inch cavity there. So we are not bulking the unit out with masses of insulation to hold the heat in. We have a we have the leading footprint in terms of ratio of cavity size to how much room it's going to take up on your workspace. So in terms of the operation and the cooking, which we'll come on to in a second, the oven sits for us at a temperature, I've got this at 275 degrees, so it sits as a hot oven. And then what it brings in is impinged air, so it's forced air from the top of the cabinet onto the food at very high speed. That gives us all the browning, the toasting, all the nice oven-baked finishes. And it also can use microwave. This is a standard power model which has got a 1000-watt microwave, so you can use microwave into the cooking as well. So those three elements, the time that it's in the oven, the impinged air, the speed of the air onto the food, and the microwave element, the three of those together then combine so that we get the perfect results. Obviously, if we were just going microwave cooking, you can get heat into things, but it gives absolutely no finish for the customer. There's no quality in terms of how we would achieve toasting, browning, anything like that. And what we'll see with the MerryChef is that because it's an oven cook, with the oven cook, we get the benefits of the microwave in terms of nudging the speed on a little bit, but it retains the quality of the food at the same time. So what I'll do is we'll firstly, in fact, I'll show you, if you bring the camera back over, cheers. We'll have a look at how it would appear if we bought this morning and we had it delivered to our site, just to give you an idea of how simple the interface is. All of the MerryChefs are manufactured in the UK, in Sheffield. So all our heritage is here in the UK. And what that means is that we've got a large team of food development, dedicated culinary team of chefs, also based in the UK. So when the E2S would come out, we would literally plug it in, and straight away it comes preloaded with a UK cookbook, which you can see is very simply organised into common folders of common food types that we would use. As you can see there, we have a full folder for breakfast type cooking. We then have our paninis, our toasties and so on, and you can see as we move through, very, very straightforward operation. So I'll show you that again, the cookbook organised nicely into folders, and then we're very simply into different profiles there. So as I'm cooking today, you'll see me going back and forward. This is the style of cooking we're doing. So it comes ready to work with straight away. And because this menu system has been developed in the UK for 99% of our businesses out there, it's absolutely brilliant as a starting point to move on. What we'll also do today is we'll do a little bit on editing and how straightforward it is to edit these profiles. So that I might be using a thick white bread for my toasty. Matthew might be using a heavier sourdough. We can still reflect those individual qualities of our business and our ingredients by just very simply tweaking these profiles. So we make the profiles belong to our business, and that's one of the key things with MerryChef, is that very, very simple to edit and then save those profiles. And if we were to be in a situation, if we had multiple shops and we were looking to standardise what we were doing, very simple to move the files using the USB port, and we can use those and we could move the files here onto another unit. So what I'll do is I've set up a very simple set of products here. The type of thing we might see in in our coffee shop type environment. So we've got some toasties, some wraps, some paninis, some pizza slices, breakfast rolls and so on. And these are good that they give us a basis of there's a lot of high street trade in this area, and a lot of the high street trade in this area is very much, it's a growth position. So we'll cover some of this basic kind of work off. Obviously what we could have is we could either be making these to order, in that Subway style model, or what we could do is we could pre-make our sandwiches. I've pre-made these here, and we could have these floor wrapped and maybe in a grab and go counter, so that the customer could take the goods, bring them to us, and then as you'll see with the timings, by the time they've made the coffee and we're serving the customer, then the food will be ready. So a nice simple example to get us started, obviously, is just our toasty type product. So we've pre-made the toasty there. All we would be doing then, and operationally all we would be doing is, we have our toasty. All of the units come obviously with our nice little kind of pizza tray. It's got the little knuckle protector because when we open the oven it'll be hot. So with this we'll go into our toasty setting. As you can see, one toasted sandwich. It prompts us as a product in the oven. And we can go straight onto the cook plate. And then you can see the timer there is going to run through. So this is a 50-second process. Now this gives us our first look at what actually lies behind these icons. So what that's saying is it's running the oven at 275. It's going to run for 50 seconds, and this is running with 100% fan speed. and 70% microwave. So this is giving us as much toasting as we can get in the 50 seconds. Because it's a, we've set this up as a toasty profile, it obviously knows that one of the key things we're looking to do is get a nice toasted finish onto the product. So for that, we've set up the profile with 100%. What we'll do is we'll look at some other products where that toasting won't be the key driver of the product, and therefore we can drop the toasting element somewhat. So in terms of where 50 seconds gets us to, we can see in terms of, I'll just let you see here, so in terms of coloration, nice coloration on the top there. These were just out of the fridge just before we went live, so the bread was coming from a kind of refrigerated state. You can see a nice coloration there, and then I've gone directly onto the plate there, so we've got nice coloration on the bottom. The camera's maybe just picking up some of the steam coming off, so plenty of heat into the product also. In terms then, this is where, in terms of our own businesses, we could, so you can see just in terms of that, that's just a little kind of ham and mozzarella. So there's just a little nice melt on the cheese. We don't want it, if we go too much further than that, we'll get a lot of fat breakdown on the cheese. So that just gives us a nice simple product there. Now the key with that, this is, a very everyday easy product. There's nothing to this, obviously. But the key thing there is that what we're doing is we're getting consistency into what we're doing. So if we do, 50 of these in a day, the beauty is that we are getting some level of consistency there, where that every single one that would go out to all of our customers then, and again, if we had multiple branches, then every single toasty is going to go out with the same kind of cooking quality, and that's one of the key things compared to, for example, if we were doing that in an old traditional panini machine. What you can find is that the first couple maybe come out with the kind of ideal level of coloration, but as time goes on, it loses a little bit of its heat. The colour begins to fade away from it, or you have to invest a lot more time to get the product out at a decent level. So the beauty there with the MerryChef is consistency and speed and quality in what we're doing. We've got a quality level of coloration onto the bread. We've got plenty of heat into the middle of the product, but it's not taking it too far. And we're also got the consistency. So as long as we are consistent with those kind of the weights of the fillings that are going in there, then we could literally churn those out, 100 times a day. We could churn them out at multiple sites. And basically, we're all just running from that one simple icon. Now, what you'll have noticed when we were doing that then was that was a process for one toasty. If we'll run a process just to give an idea again of timings. We've also got a process there for two. So we'll get two toasties up this time. So we'll get our two toasties ready. Now what you'll see is that the timing, we've left the timing, it's still at 50 seconds. The reason being, because we've got more product in there, the time doesn't have to double or increase vastly. We've gone with 80% microwave this time. So what you'll find is that you can set up a process for a single item and then for multiple items. But the beauty of it is that your timing doesn't kind of go from 50, then a minute 40 and so on. Your timing doesn't double, then treble. What you'll find is that because you're able to just adjust the microwave onto the product, it means that within the same time parameter, you can often produce more in terms of quality, in terms of quantity. So what that means is if we have a customer, it's one toasted sandwich or we have two toasted sandwich, we're not moving to look at a great deal of time. So we've had a first kind of question in from Andy there. Thanks, Andy, for dropping us a line in terms of how many sandwiches can we cook at one time. So it's a great point. As you can see, we've just done two there. And We'll grab these out. Effectively, there's a couple of things at play there with the question. We've done 2 there. You can see again coloration nice and consistent. So that was 2, Andy, we did in 50 seconds. With this style of bread, 2 is probably about the maximum. If you were doing standard toasties, you could set up a profile and maybe do 3. Your time would maybe nudge then to maybe a minute 10, a minute 20, something like that. Again, depending on it all depends on the style of the bread you're using and the kind of weight of the quantity of filling. But the key thing is that if we're saying 1 is 50 seconds, in this example we've done 2 also in 50 seconds. You know, so if you had slightly heavier fillings, you might go on 2 in a minute, or you might go to 3 at a maximum. But the idea is that your timings, you keep the weights of the product nice and consistent, and that gives you nice consistent timings. But the key thing on that, Andy, it's a great point, but the key thing is 50 seconds doesn't become a minute 40 and then doesn't become 2 minutes 30 and so on. It's basically, it might go 50 and then for a 2 we can still do a 2 and 50, and then for a 3 you might, if the bread can get in there, then we might nudge it on to say a minute 20 or something. But the beauty is, you wouldn't set up like a toasty, one for each toasty that you're doing on your menu. What you would do is you would get a good program that worked for multiples, and then as long as you're setting up your weights and your processes so that the same product, same weight and the same kind of standard of products get in, you'll get the same out. So thanks for dropping that. I hope that answers the question. So I'll just set these off to one side there. Now, another product just to illustrate the kind of cooking methodology and what we're doing. If we had, for example, we had a little wrap style product. If we think about what we're trying to achieve with the toasty, we're trying to get nice coloration and we're trying to have that crunch in the bread as well as get heat into the middle. But the key thing we're really focusing on is that nice external toasted factor. With a wrap, on the other hand, if we were to go with the full kind of fan speed on this style of bread, it would make it really, really crispy. It would kind of, you know, do too much with it. It would become too flaky and crispy. On the other hand, the challenge is we've got probably a slightly heavier filling in a wrap. So you've got a little bit more room for getting heat into the centre of the product. So again, we've already got a profile there for it, but it's good to look at what the toasty and the wrap profiles look like. So also with the wrap, what you'll see I'm doing is I'm using what we call a little cooking basket. So we're using a little black basket. Again, with the bread, I was happy to go onto the hot plate and take the full coloration. With this, we'll just protect the bottom of the wrap slightly. So again, we've got a setting there, product in. Now you can see the way the profile differs is we're only running 10% in terms of the forced air, in terms of the fan speed, if you like. We're only running at 10%. So that's only using 10% of that capability with the impinged air onto the food. Because our main focus here isn't coloration, because it's a far gentler bread that we're using. Our main focus is we're using 100% of microwave. We might have a nice stacked burrito style product, rice and chicken, and it's a heavier fill. So we need to work harder to get the heat in there. So if we think about what we saw with the toasty compared to what we saw with that, these kind of set up the basic principles of, we have the impinged air, we have the oven, which is obviously a factor of time, and then we have the microwave. How heavy is the filling we're needing to heat up, or how cold is it? So just run through in a minute. Now you can see there. So we've got a little bit of the cheese just kind of melted through there, but you can see the 10% for a minute. It's just put a nice coloration. If we'd ran that at 100%, you can imagine, obviously it would have burnt it. Also, because we've used the mat there, we've just got a nice little seal in the bottom. We've just had a wee pop in the seam. But you can see the bread here. We've just got that nice little coloration on it. Again, if we'd gone much further than that, the bread would have been far too crispy. So if we think about that process then, low fan speed and higher microwave obviously concentrates on getting the food piping hot in the centre. And again, the camera will kind of catch there the amount of steam coming off. It's just a wee vegetarian wrap. But you can see the amount of heat there that's gone into the centre of that. Again, the same principles apply in terms of if we're doing multiples, there's a little process for 2 there. And the process for 2 is just 1:15. So you can see that's the same principle at play, where we say 1 minute and then we don't need to go to 2 minutes to do 2. So we can have 1 and 2 multiples and we can serve them in a very, in a time frame that doesn't double and treble and so on. So the other kind of key kind of things that are in the market that we see a lot of, obviously we've got the ciabatta style sandwich there, we've got some pastry products and so on. With the ciabattas, it's a slightly different process. What we'll do is we'll cook that through and show you what we would do with that. Because the ciabatta bread is already, because this style of bread, we're already bar marked, the product's already been baked off and bar marked as we have it. So with this, what we'll do is we'll cook it. We'll do the ciabatta and we'll do it on an open setting. What that will do is it will get the heat into the centre of the product. And it'll also
Hi, sorry I'm late.
Hi.
Hi Paul, you okay?
How are you doing? You well, Matthew?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good. How's it going?
Not bad. We're just looking at the basic. We're just kind of trying to get to grips with the basic functionality of the oven. So we're talking about the fact it's an oven, which also brings in some use of microwave and some use of impinged air. We've done some nice simple products here, and what we did with the toasty was we were able to demonstrate with the full impinged air at 100%. We got a beautiful coloration onto the product. With the wrap, what we did was we used a higher level of microwave, and we got a gentler handling of the bread and plenty of heat into the centre of the product. So these are the principles we're just trying to chat through today. We're just looking at a little panini there at the moment, and we're just doing that in an open style.
So we've, I keep interrupting you, but
Again,
this is our market leader, the MerryChef, in speed cooking, yeah?
Very much so, and that's the custom. A lot of the guys maybe tuning in, the guys and girls tuning in. On the high street nowadays, you'll see our product in a lot of places. Traditionally, years ago it would have been Subway sandwich was the first kind of breakthrough chain that we began. People began seeing the name and seeing the concept. And but as time's gone on, we've seen that transition from, maybe on your high street kind of cafe, small kind of brasserie style place. That transition from, contact grills, toasty machines, those type of things.
Yeah, to these
because it's consistency, it's volume. It's that ability to consistently get the same product out to your customer.
The one today is this the 13 amp plug. There's two models available, I think, of
exactly.
this particular type, 13 amp
plug.
Yeah,
this is a standard power model, so this is the 13 amp. This is the 13 amp version, and you can see there we've just done the little panini. So as you can see, we already had our bread, was already bar marked, so it was that style of bread when it went in. So what we did was we cooked it on a setting which wasn't putting lots and lots of impinged air on, because we don't have to work too hard with the bread. What we did was we did it open and got a lovely melt on the cheese, and then I've just kind of filled the sandwich there.
So the menu development and setting to get perfect results, or to near perfect results every time, you do a lot of work with your customers, and you know, your training is available when you buy the machine?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, the great thing is because it's a British company, all of the culinary development work is done in the UK, based around our Sheffield production site. So what that means is that they come preloaded with a cookbook for the UK market. So the beauty is that a lot of the options on here that I'm showing today are just literally as it comes. So we've literally plugged this in this morning, and then when we can be off and we can be cooking.
And not only it's like UK manufactured, but UK manufactured throughout the world.
Yes,
as
indeed.
regards of you export them. So if I'm in Dubai,
Yep.
and if this has come from Sheffield,
This has come from Sheffield, yeah. So if you're in a Subway sandwich shop in Dubai, we are made in Sheffield. So it's a great
We've
message.
got one coming from Jeff, a question coming in from Jeff. Can
Yep.
you cook raw meat?
We can indeed. So what we'll do is, we've had a look at the sandwiches and so on, and what we'll do now is, I'll show you what we would do with that type of thing. So I've got some bacon here,
Yeah.
and we'll do a little process. You can see there's different coloured mats that we have.
And
So
Rob's put in question there. Is it easy to install as well?
very much so. I mean, this particular model, and this is the model that, this is our standard power model. So we're 240 volts, we're plug and play, and literally as it comes preloaded with the menu set that's there, we are ready to go in terms of very easy to install. Now the key thing is catalytic converter in the machine, so it doesn't need ventilation. We're sited in a conventional kitchen setting this morning, which is ideal.
But you don't need ventilation.
We don't need this. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty
it can go front of house.
Front of house. We could have it next to the coffee machine. We could have it next to the soup kettle. Out there front of house, and we would be able to operate in that type of environment. So we've had the question in with regards to raw products and raw proteins. So what we'll do is we'll just do a nice simple process. Obviously a little tray of bacon here, just to give you an idea. So obviously we could, you could do bacon in an oven.
Just Paul, just highlight what the trays, you seem to be using a lot of different coloured trays.
So the ovens come with the black tray that I was using. What is worth having a think about is there's a number of different processes, and we do green and red and blue trays and so on. So for all our allergens, our raw processes and so on, you can have a tray there that's appropriate. So it's worth speaking to the guys at CaterKwik. If you're thinking about the oven, think about your whole working day process. What type of things are we doing through it? So if you were doing raw, it might be worth having the appropriate trays. It might be appropriate to have a tray for your allergens or your gluten-free or any of that type of things. Yeah, that's important.
And get all colour-coded system operating.
Exactly. What I'll do here is I'll just use our standard little full tray of bacon. So in we go with that, and I'll pop that in. So you can see there that's going to run 2 minutes 15. Now, if we were doing that in a microwave, obviously, if we were doing that in a microwave, we would get the heat would go into it, but we wouldn't have any sense of rendering the fat down on the bacon. You wouldn't have that kind of grilled effect. And obviously that's what people are looking for with their bacon, is that kind of grilled effect. So what we're doing here is, because we're running the impinged air at the same time as the microwave and at the same time that it's in the oven, we're looking to achieve a kind of grilled bacon type effect. So we're looking for some of the fat to begin to render down and crisp up a little bit, because if we were doing that under a grill, that's the type of result we'd look for.
We've just got a question in from Jamie Paul. How fast can it do cook a burger? Can a standard burger?
Yep, so I can run a little process for Jamie and show a burger in a minute. We'll be looking at round about the 2.5 minute mark for a little tray of burgers.
Okay, and Jennifer's asking as well, so 2.5 minutes for burgers. Jennifer's asking, can it be cooked? Can you cook anything in sealed packaging to prevent cross-contamination?
The sealed packaging would, by and large, the answer would be we wouldn't necessarily be able to do that. The reason being that it is a hot oven, so it sits at 275 degrees at all times. So there's a couple of things around that in terms of packaging and reheating and so on, because so it's always going into a hot oven. We can run it with no microwave or with a high microwave, but there's always that heat element, so the packaging would have to be designed and robust enough to be able to cope with oven type temperatures. So that would be a one you would have to look at. But I would, it would be hard to say, but you would have to double check with the package that it was suitable for that. But by and large, plastic would be no to go into these because the oven's too hot. And metal, similarly, because there's a microwave, metal wouldn't be a way to go either.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so if we look at that in terms of, so we were 2 minute 15 there. So what are the key things we're looking for? Bacon, everyone on the British High Street, we do loads and loads of bacon, bacon rolls and breakfasts and so on. The rendering of the fat and the kind of crisping of the fat, this is the key thing for me, because if we'd done that under a grill, that's the type of result we would have been looking for. If we had simply done this in a microwave, then it would have cooked the bacon, it would have basically steamed the bacon hot, but we wouldn't have got any kind of effect. So the beauty is that we're getting a little nudge of speed, but just a little nudge of speed from the microwave. But the main thing is it's going into a hot oven, and it's the movement of the air that is getting us this result. So we're into the hot oven, and that was 2 minutes 15. So what you could do is you could either, if you were literally running from this, you could cook off a few trays of this in the morning, chill them down, and then you could, what you could do after that is you could then use them and do it like a regen in the style that Costa Coffee, for example, do.
Good. So, we've got a question from Richard as well. Just sorry to keep interrupting you.
No, this is great.
They're coming in really fast.
Yep, great stuff.
How can we access training? We have an Eikon, but we haven't used it yet. So about the training and things like that, or the support, after sale support.
Yeah. Okay. So what to do is once the unit goes out onto site, you could contact us, and there's an hour's training that the customer's entitled to kind of access and get. To be an hour doesn't sound like a lot, but the editing function and the interface is so straightforward that within that hour, what I do when I do the training is we do a little bit of cooking, go over 3 or 4 of the key points in terms of setting up profiles, editing profiles. And then what we do is I always say to people, take a little video of me doing it, so that you've got 3 or 4 key little videos on edits and things like that. And then following that, it's very, very simple to edit the profiles and save the ones that work for you.
But Richard, if you want to contact the office here at CaterKwik, we can arrange some extra training for you.
Very much so, yeah.
We don't mind where you bought the oven. We're here to support our customers, so we can get the training organised, or you can come and use the facility here at CaterKwik and develop your menu here. That's if but if you've already got one, it seems a shame not to use it. There's a question in from Mike. Can we use it to cook ready-made pasta like lasagnas and things like that? Yes,
we can. What you would do with that is, I'll just put this bacon in the fridge. Yeah, so with the lasagnas and so on, I've got one there that I'll do shortly. We'll do a little lasagna. Basically, what you would then do is you run a little bit of the fan speed through at the same time as a little bit of microwave. So the beauty of that is that you get the heat into the product quickly, but you also, from that, what you also get is a nice oven kind of finish. So I'll just, what we'll do is I'll pop this over here.
Okay, and Thomas says what is the difference between the standard models and non-standard models? I think different colours. You've got colours.
Oh yeah, so we've got a trend. Yeah, we've got trend models as well. So this is our standard stainless steel. We also have trend models. So the trend models it's a black and a red, which we can share the details of later on, but you can see it's the exact same kind of proportions and so forth, but we also do it with a black and a red. So if you have a particular kind of front of house scheme that you're looking to tie into in terms of the look, then it's worth knowing that we do those as well.
It makes it look a bit more less commercial, doesn't it?
Aye, that's a beauty. If you've got a nice, a nice kind of tiled environment and a nice setup here, nice lighting, the black and the red ones can look absolutely brilliant, and it just takes away from that kind of commercial look to it. What I'll do is I will, just to cover off a couple of the points that were raised there, I'll cook off a couple of burgers, and then we'll look at the lasagna, and we've got a question there about can we cook from frozen, so we'll do a little bit of frozen, we'll pick that up. So thanks for that question, Thomas. In terms of the E2, this is the E2S standard power, so in terms of the power, it's a 1000-watt microwave, and it's plug and play, just standard 3-pin, 13 amp. The high power, which looks the exact same as this, has got the larger microwave, and that would be a single phase oven.
Yeah, okay.
Or a
three-phase option, it says here, doesn't it? Yeah.
Single
yeah, 32 amp in single phase,
yep.
16 amp in 3-phase or 32. So yeah,
yep.
it is quite, adaptable.
Very much so.
Which is the one that made them Subway use, because it's kind of like looks a bit different to this.
Yeah,
but it is your machine, isn't it?
Very much so. You'll see. I'll just pop another couple of these wee bits in, just so we've got some other things getting cooked as we talk. I'll just do the little pizza setting. So I'll just do a little pizza slice kind of setting here. What I'll do is for this is just a little focaccia pizza slice type thing. So I'll just show you, and we'll cover this in a bit more detail, but I'll just show you I don't have a profile necessarily set up for this. So if we were wanting to set up a little profile for this, what we would do is, the chef hat there lets you do some editing. So this gives you a timer there, so we'll say, we'll run 30 seconds, and I'll run my fan at maybe 75%, and I'll run my microwave maybe at 50. And you can put a little note there like, place on black tray. So we've put a little prompt for ourselves, and then I'll put a second step, and we'll do we'll go 20 seconds. We'll run the fan speed we'll run it at 95, and we'll run a little bit of microwave in there, and we'll say add topping, so we'll add a little bit more cheese. So that's a two-step process we've set up where it's changing the parameters, you can see, but it would be saved as one icon.
All right, okay. So if you've got consistent product coming in,
exactly.
You spoke to your supplier.
That's coming in. We've set up a profile, and you can see there it's prompting me place on black tray, so it's telling me
which tray to
what
put
I need to do. That goes in there. So coming back to your point regarding, the ones on Subway, that's the E4 type model. Subway it's an E4S, but the E4 model and the E3 model are more in that style of they're a slightly larger unit, and they're in a slightly different style. They're not styled directly for a front of house operation. But what they give you across the range then, what we have is, we have the E4, at the E4 and the E5 side, you're looking at where you can really bring this style of cooking into a kind of conventional kitchen kind of environment. We're just going to wee prompt there, add.
Perfect. Just while you're pulling that out, just to pick up on Peter's question there, can you rent them or can you lease the ovens? Not a problem at all. We can sort you out. You can take it from anywhere from 12 months up to 5 years. So you can just, whatever fits your business, whatever budget you've got, and you can really look at the sort of benefits on a day-by-day basis. How much will it pay for itself per day? And hopefully, well, it works for some of the bigger chains, so I can't see why it wouldn't work for anybody else, to be fair.
Yep. So yeah, the E3, the E4 and the E5, slightly different styling and slightly different applications, but the key thing is to have a chat with the guys with regards to what are the main items you'd be looking to do through the oven. What are your busiest kind of, in your busiest couple of hour window, how many people are you looking to serve? What's your main style of your menu?
And the difference between the 32 amp and the 13 amp, the plug and play one, which we're seeing here, is only a matter of a few seconds, but due to the speed of the machine, it may make all the difference. So it's really key that you speak to these guys and get the right models, and we want to take our time and make sure that we get the right product for yourself.
If you have a little look there, I mean, obviously very simple little focaccia product, and we just did a little two-step so that we prompted ourselves to put an extra little bit of topping. But the key thing is that what we're getting are the nice burnt corners, the nice, we're getting a proper oven style product. So we're getting these nice little burnt crispy edges, which is what people would expect.
How fast was that, Paul?
Well, I just made this little process up as we were doing that there, so that was just 50 seconds. We did 30 seconds initially, and then it prompted me add some more toppings. I just gave it a little kind of pesto and mozzarella topping, and then it went back in for another 20 seconds with a higher level of impingement. So that's what gets us the nice little burnt corners. And again, that product in 50 seconds, then again, let's think, if we'd taken the product, that's how it was, right? This was the product. If we'd taken that and put it in the microwave, it would have come out hot, but it would have looked like this, and the bread would have just been soggy. Same 50 seconds, because it's high-speed oven, we're getting an oven-finished product. That's the key thing. The quality of the product that we're able to do.
But how, as well as the speed, out of hours, there's a lot of Hilton, are they a custom Marriott, etc. They're customers of yours for out of hours service?
These type of things, yeah. For example, with if you're running a small hotel or bed and breakfast and you want to do a little kind of out of hours kind of room service style menu, you could have 3 or 4 little processes set up. And again, we go back to if we've made up a nice consistent products, then we'll get a nice consistent finish. But it's the quality of the finish that we're able to achieve because we can tweak the parameters. So we're getting where we want a grilled style finish. We saw the bacon earlier, so the crispiness, if that's gone out to someone, it's just as if it's been under a salamander grill. So we're getting a proper crispy finish on that. We're looking for oven baked on this style of finish. Again, we're getting a nice little burnt corners, it's crisped the bread up. It's just a simple focaccia, but we're able to lift it and make it more like it's just come straight out of a pizza oven effectively. It's that adaptability is the key thing, and to get to the best type of result that we're looking for.
Got a knife, can we just cut into that and have a quick
I mean, it's just it's a very simple product, but the idea is that you're getting it.
But also, what I'm thinking about there is just like a bar which is wet driven, like for sort of, so it's good with the beer sales. You haven't really got a full kitchen. You don't want to take the risk in having a full kitchen and a full menu.
It's a great example.
If you can keep your customers there for a couple of more hours by offering a food option behind the bar, a fridge, hand wash basin, one of those, and pretty much you're up and running.
Great example. I mean, that's exactly it. You can just have 4 or 5 products. We'll do the burgers in a second.
And it wouldn't look out of place, that, would it, at the end of a bar? It would just, and space is so precious these days. It's absolute, and you're trying to maximise your revenue for the time that you're open, and you've got to be able to just offer it. And it's a good product. It's not it's a nice. It's fast. It's good.
The thing is as well, like in the bar, the kind of wet sales type environment, if that goes out, if I grab one of these along my pint for a couple of quid, and then you're sitting at the other side of the bar, that kind of, I'll have one of those as well. So you can drive sales just through 3 or 4 simple products that are nicely you know, nicely done, nicely executed.
What I was thinking about, you know, as quick as I've poured a pint.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? You're not taking an order and having to wait for it. It's almost as, you know, it's almost as fast as getting served with a few drinks.
That's
so, you know, you can, so there's a different, same footprint and just more revenue coming through.
That's it. So what I'll do is I will run through, cook off some of the raw burgers, and then we could have a look at the lasagna, and then I'll look at a couple of more, slightly more complex dishes, just to show how this is us operating in a very narrow band of what the MerryChef can do in general, and when we think about the wider ones in the range. So what we'll do is we'll do a couple of other dishes, a little salmon dish that are more towards brasserie style cooking, to show where it can be used at that side of the market. So I'll just set up very quickly.
Comes with 12 months parts and labour warranty.
Yep.
And you've got how many engineers on the road?
We have 32 engineers on the road in the UK, so we are, you know, well served for the UK market. And
you sort of, you can use different warranty options, I think, as well, if you want to.
Very much so, yeah. You can either look at the year one warranty position if you need to develop that for yourself, or what you can do is you can, you know, beyond year one we have options whereby you can increase the warranty, extend the warranty beyond the first year.
And care for the machine, once you've bought it, caring for it, there's like cleaning products you can buy from yourself?
Yeah, we've got our own, we've got an oven cleaner and an oven protector, which we'll chat about very quickly at the end. But the care for the machine, very simple cleaning process, and just daily cleaning maintenance, kind of common sense approach with that. Then what you're able to do is, and the oven protector acts as a little ongoing guard to help prevent against that kind of ongoing build-up of grease. So we'll cover that off, but very straightforward on a day-to-day basis. I'll just get these little burgers up.
So this is just cooking raw product here in the machine?
So we'll just get the burgers up there. So again, I've not set a profile up, but we'll use this as an opportunity to just have a look at a profile again. So again, if we were doing this from scratch, we would do this once or twice, then we would save it. So you wouldn't be doing this day to day, but for example, what we'll say is we'll say, let's say a minute 10, and we'll just run quite a low fan speed. We'll run maybe 30% fan speed, and I'll just run maybe 45% microwave. And again, I'll just put a wee prompt, place burgers on tray, and then what I'll do is I'll do stage 2, and we'll turn the burgers over just to get a nice even kind of coloration and so on, and we'll just run these through with another just run them through maybe for another minute, and then we'll take a temp probe on that, but that 2 minutes 10, that should be roughly where we are to get us there. I'll just add a third step. I'll just put, just for the first time, what I'll do is I'll just do a wee check temp, because I can show you the, if we need it, I can show you there's a very simple little boost function. I'll drop the fan because the coloration should be there by then. We'll just do another wee 20 seconds. So in total, I've set that up as 3 steps. Now, when we, if this worked for this particular product, we would just save it, and then after that, that would be us done, just working from an icon. So we'll run this through, just to see where we go with the result here. So again, it's prompting us, place burgers on tray, and then we'll run that through. So again, we're not going, I always kind of treat it like, you know, the first few times you're trying a new product, so obviously I've cooked stacks of burgers off before. This burger I got was from a different place this morning, so I'm just building up the profile here. I would always, if we've got existing users watching, my wee tip would always be, if you're starting with a new product, always kind of underplay it to begin with. Obviously, kind of feel your way into it till you get the temperature where you need it, because the kind of the gentler we can be with the microwave, then it means that your product, especially a protein or a product like that, where there's the fat content, it's not going to over tighten. It's not going to pull itself in and really tighten and dry out. So I always kind of try and nudge the product along in a couple of little steps, and then when I have it, if I need to speed it up slightly, I can add in a little bit here and there on the steps.
So I think we've got a 1,000-watt microwave in this unit, yeah.
Exactly, and that's why you want to kind of I come from the chefing side of the industry, so I'm always thinking, how do we balance the speed of the process with maintaining the quality of the product? That's the key thing. So that's just prompted me there. It's saying to turn the burgers. So we'll just get a little fork here. They're beginning to take on a little bit of colour. We'll just run those through. In the second step, I've just stepped the microwave up a little bit, just to begin to get the heat into the product, and then that should get us there.
But one machine behind the bar or in a small kitchen, I've got all my bacon rolls in the morning.
Yep.
I've got a lunchtime offering of pahinis and toasty sandwiches, and obviously we can do burgers and raw products as well as reheating or
exactly. And with the burgers and things like that, if this was all we were using, but we still thought, maybe at lunchtime we would still maybe sell 10 burgers, what I would do is I would get this little process right, but I would do them there and I would chill them so that when it came at lunchtime, we could literally toast the bun through there, and we could just gently reheat the burger through there, and then it would be an even quicker process. It also means then we're not having to bring in, have a lot of raw product in the service side of the business.
Right, okay.
So I'll just give those a wee turn over. I'll just pop them back in for the last 20 seconds.
Good. I can't see it not really paying for itself, to be honest. In a sort of like quite, a busy, semi-busy environment, it is.
Well, that's the key thing, is to think about that kind of, if you're in a small high street kind of coffee shop environment, it's the speed of process, because the faster at lunch, if we've got 2 or 3 hours a day to make our money, the more people that we can get through that, that's more money at the till. But also with that, we're not trying to pay off the speed for the quality. That's the key thing, because if all of those customers go through and have enjoyed it, then they're back the next time as well. So that's kind of, where we can maximise at those busy times, and that's where it begins to pay for itself. If we could sell an extra, 10 products at lunchtime over the course of a year, then it begins to tell its own story.
It looks all pretty easy to program as well, for what the two-step process you put there with it. And all that can be on a data stick, can't it? So
everything can be run there on a data stick. That was just a little burger there, just to kind of let you see. So that's just run through to so it's cooked through over the 75 degrees. So that's the two of them. Now they're not, the product itself then is still lovely and moist. It's not been dried out. It's cooked through, it's held at 81 there. So we could maybe knock 5 seconds or whatever off the cook process. But that was the earlier question was about raw products. So that was the 2 burgers were 2.5 minutes. Going back to the principles we talked about earlier, if we had a tray of 4, Does that mean it would be 5 minutes? No, it doesn't. It just means, you know, you might tweak it on to kind of 3 minutes or a little bit more, but you wouldn't be far away from that 2.5 minutes.
But you could also put symbols that represent like two burgers, 3 burgers. You know, you can
absolutely bang on.
Once you've actually got it nailed, you can.
Once you've got that set up in place, then you can just have, you know, an icon for cooking off 2s, cooking off 4s, and that way you can, you know, you can work in a number of different ways. But the key thing is there, we've got coloration, we've got the core temperature. That was a raw product, so your main thing is make sure you're cooking it through. It's done that, but it's left the product in very good, at a very good level. What we'll do is I'll keep that plate for something else. Yeah, I'll just put these off to the side. I'll just give my board a wee clean here.
And me get tasting into them.
Yeah, you can get tasting into them. If you keep as one, what I'll do is I'll set one up as a wee burger in a second on a reheat. So I think we had a question about frozen. Did we have a question about frozen products?
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll get a little frozen pizza up for us in a second. A good wee clean there.
But everything looks so like, you know, nice and clean and nice and like simple steps.
Very, very simple in terms of, well, that was the programming there for the burger. You saw me do it in real time. You know, it took like 15-20 seconds to do as I was going along. We just made a little process up there because I hadn't cooked those particular burgers before, so rather than just press an icon, I just set something up. But you could saw you know, we hit the temperature, 2.5 minutes, and we got a nice finish on the product. So very, very simple. That was it, and I was just doing it there in real time.
And do you find, did he put them in like, is it mainly that like in a bigger kitchen, say, would it be in the starter section doing quite a lot of the work in that?
See, yeah, that's a way that you could do it into a more brasserie or traditional kitchen menu. You could have this just running little starters or running little, you know, little bruschettas and little bonbons and things like that. You could have 3 or 4 little items that you just did as a little starter style. If we're doing a lot of that type of cooking, it's worth having a look at the E4 and the E5 as well, because they've got the catalytic converters within them, gives you a bit more scope to handle more protein. Okay. So if we were doing a lot of raw protein, so that was a mainstay of what we were doing. That's
the machine you
recommend.
That's
where to begin to chat through and think about that. I think
that's worth a point because it's like, so if we're doing a lot of chicken, protein products, then we need to consider looking at another machine, really.
Well, basically the E2S, it can do everything. It's more about the quantity. Where it really is designed is in, it can do a little bit of these things we've done so far, but it's kind of designed for that, you know, quick, light and often, almost, you know, just working away quickly.
Is it the protein on the bigger machines? Is it the moisture content coming off the product? Is that what it's?
And also the fat content will be in the cavity.
Yeah. So it's that.
So the catalytic converter needs to be in a, you know, needs
the
to
next size up.
Different way. Yeah. So that's kind of where you would be thinking there. The question about the frozen, I'll run a little. We'll run a little frozen pizza through it. Then we'll do the lasagna. And then we'll have a look at a little salmon dish.
There must be a lot of suppliers which are very comfortable in supplying pre-made, pre-packaged, pre-portioned units. Like, you know, if we're going to look at Costa, for instance, and a few of the chains, that you know, but a few independent suppliers would supply product that would go straight out the fridge, straight into the machine. Yeah,
there's more and more suppliers coming onto the market who will. So I've made all of this stuff up, obviously. You know, the little toasties and the little paninis and wraps and so on. So we can either do this, and we could have that ready to go and so we're quick. Or we could do exactly what you're saying. Speak to our suppliers and say, you know, speak to whoever you get most of your food supply through and have a chat with them, because there's more and more products coming into their catalogues, into their product list that are pre-packed sandwiches, you know, that are designed to go straight in. And that means then your operation is literally, you've got your product lines coming in, keep on top of your order process, and then you're kind of just managing your fridge, and then we're kind of display, hold it in the fridge, have it nice displays, and then the MerryChef will take
or the grab and go.
Or the grab and go deck fridge, yeah, perfect, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and it's not, it's a straightforward little money earner, to be honest. It's not, and you kind of skill level. It's, you know, as regards of we're not invested in lots of chefs.
Well, that's the thing, and it's also when we've got our profiles set up. If you've got, if you're operating, then if I'm working for you as a chef this summer, and then someone else is there the next summer, and someone the following summer, there's always quite a move. There's a turnover of staff.
Seasonal, touristy kind of places. You're busy in the summer. Winter, it's tumbleweed.
Exactly.
And it's kind of.
Well, what this gives you is the profiles then kind of belong to your business.
Yeah.
So you know that you can go and execute your menu and have good staff working with you. But if we have, if staff move on, if we've got changes happening, we've got a consistency at the heart of what we do.
And wastage, like, you know what I mean? It's not, we've not got, if we're cooking to order, aren't we? So we're not having lots of wastage at the end of the day.
That's it. The frozen, wastage is a great example, either running from frozen or running from, just manage your quantities that you prepare or you buy based on what the till's telling you. If we do 20 bacon rolls a day, we make 20 and so on. So just to give you an idea, so this was the frozen pizza. So we just did it on the standard setting, which was 1:45, and then I gave it a quick boost there.
But that looks pretty nice, that. To be honest,
it's not a million. I mean, at the end of the day, we're working with a frozen pizza from a supermarket. Right, so we're straight out the freezer, it's rock solid, and then we're in. But again, have we got the heat into it is the first thing, because we're dealing with frozen. So we've got the heat in there. What's it done with the bake? We can hopefully capture a wee bit of the steam coming off, that we've got the actual heat into the product. So we're dealing with frozen, rock solid frozen. So firstly, is it hot enough? That's the first thing. It's definitely hot enough. In terms of, are we getting any kind of, sense that it's a, we've kind of actually baked, we've got a baked style on the product. We're getting the nice baked edges and the nice, we're getting a kind of baked result. And obviously we've got the kind of melt and a bit of the bake on the cheese as well. So that was in total, that was 1:45, and I just gave it a quick flash boost for another 10 seconds. So we're under 2 minutes from frozen. That's kind of where you are with that. And if we set that up on a nice board, and we, we kind of dress it up and so on, then obviously we can begin to turn it into a little pub style, a little pub style sharing little pizza thing, quite simply. But the beauty is, as you said earlier, not lots of extra equipment.
No. Freezer in the machine. And
just all you would be doing is just try out 3 or 4 different products. Test them out, find something that works for you.
But if we've got late night service, you know what I mean? It's
nice.
not.
Exactly. It's just people.
Your bar staffers just nipped round the back for a minute or 2 minutes, and brought yourself, and you'd pay for that. You'd pay. At
the end of the day, it kind of gets as a product out to the customer. And it's that gap in the market cooking, that's what you've identified. We're talking about bars and so on. We're talking about where there's a gap in the market. So that's from frozen, obviously. You just kind of can get that dressed up, and then, you can, that's your little pizza platter kind of board thing. But that's 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes from frozen. So in terms of a product offering, that's kind of what we're able to do. So we also talked about the lasagna. I'll just put the burgers in the fridge for a second. We'll look at the lasagna, and then we'll look at a little salmon dish.
Okay.
So again, with something like the lasagna, this is just a very, very simple supermarket, you know, lasagna in the fridge there, nothing special about it at all. What we'll do is we'll set a little process up here. So we'll just run through it so you can see the programming from scratch here. So we'll run maybe 45 seconds, and we'll run a little bit of fan speed, and we'll get some microwave on the go. Again, we'll just put some tray. And then we can add a little second step, and we can put the fan speed far higher.
Of course, it's this is going out live, which is great, and we can take questions at any time. But you will be able to watch this anytime you want, and be able to. So if you are considering buying one, I think it's we're covering a lot of topics here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
We're jumping from like different businesses as well. So it's you know, it's all impressive things. It's you know.
Yeah, I think it's going up onto YouTube as well. So
is it?
Hopefully there'll be some tips that existing users can pick up on, as well as you know, potential new users. So I'll just pop this on here. Obviously we could do a little slightly stiffer lasagna, but we'll go with that on there.
Perfect. I'll do your washing up for you later on.
Cheers, thank you. We'll put this in. So again, we've got the little prompt lasagna onto the tray. We'll start that off, and then what we can do is we can give it a little topping and get it back through on a really high impinged air setting, so that we're getting that real kind of oven bake at the end for it. So we'll do that, and then we'll look at the little salmon dish. I think the key thing, we do cover a lot of ground, and it's trying to allow people to kind of see it in the context of their business. You know, what are the key things that are driving your business? Speed, consistency, you know, what are the menu options, kind of what customer style are we going for? These are all the things to consider, and we've got, the MerryChefs can work across that range. As I say, this is just the E2S, Eikon E2S, standard power. So this is very much our kind of at the lower end in terms of power in the market.
This is just plug and play. This
plug
one.
and play, very adaptable.
And the other one, the 32 amp.
Yeah.
What's the difference between performance on the 32 amp? This one, I think it'll drop its temperature and sort of want a little bit more recovery time.
The 32 amp, it gives us we would have a more powerful microwave, so it can give us a little bit more speed. Again, as I said, my thinking around the microwave is you kind of want to be quite, you know, you feel your way in with the microwave, you'll be gentle with it and you'll get the best results. But ultimately, when you're looking for real speed, the more powerful microwave is good to have. The combination then of the more powerful microwave, and also the fact that it can then, if we were doing a lot of frozen things back to back,
it's not bringing the temperature down as much. It's got more power to recover.
Yeah, very much so. It's able to kind of step up and bring that temperature back up very quickly. So that's the key kind of
you've
process.
got the 3-phase one, which is the old singing and dancing 3-phase. We've got a 32 amp single phase version, so a kind of cooker socket for those people that are not really into the electrics. And then we've got the plug and play. So we're coming down, and we should have a machine that'll fit pretty much every kind of requirement, every site requirement really.
That's it. And what we'll do is the lasagna was done there, and I've just added, just to show the little boost setting, so I've just added, there's a little 10 seconds colour boost.
Did you put some more cheese on that?
Yeah, I put some more cheese halfway through. We've done a little 10-second boost. And now you can see the key point we're trying to get across there again, we're getting a nice oven style finish on it. So again, if we put that straight in a microwave, we get heat,
Yeah,
but we don't get the oven finish on it. So the key point is these little, you know, the little burnt edges and the little nice oven.
It'd be anemic if it came out of a microwave.
Exactly.
Your biggest fear there now is it cooked in the middle. That's your kind of like. Is it warm right the way through?
Yeah. So we would just obviously run the temperature probe and make sure it was cooked through, and then that would be us. And once we had that, then set up. If this was our coloration. If we were happy with that, if we wanted a little bit more coloration, we would just increase the fan a little bit more. So for example, if we give it another 20 seconds fan speed, just to see the boost programs on the, give it another 20 seconds colour, you'll see the difference. Whatever setting that we want, whatever kind of finished product we want, we then just save that as an icon. And the whole point is then that day to day, we're literally we're going to be one button press, one icon will do all of this for us. So it's literally, we'll just come in. If I've just started working for you that morning, I could come in, press the button, and the lasagna would be coming out exactly as you wanted it.
Support from you guys though, Paul. Obviously you're always on the other end of the phone, but you're only one of, you cover the northwest and Scotland.
That's it.
How many people have you got?
So we've got a full, level of, we've got 6 people doing my job, which is kind of sales and culinary, and then we also have a full culinary team because, as I say, and that's just nicely cooked through. So, like, as far as like any techniques are concerned, or little tweaks, you can advise over the phone, over the phone, or attend we've got master classes that go on around the UK. We've got multiple sites around the UK where we'll do these masterclass style demos. So with myself, for example, and I'm only one of a number of people, but with myself I've got sites in Glasgow, Edinburgh and Newcastle, for example. Obviously then I come in and do work with you guys as well. So anyone, again, that's existing users or just wants a better look at it, get in touch, and what we'll do is we will give you the details of the next masterclass. You can get along, get a bite to eat, have a chat, have a play with the ovens, and understand, even if you want to bring some of your own product, your own products. You've got your own lasagna you do, you've got your own, toasties or whatever that you do, bring your own product, we trial that, and then that gives you that extra confidence, bring your key members of staff, and then you work on it and it gets you off and running. So that's part of the ongoing. Again, it goes back to this thing, because it's a British product, we've got this full support network in the UK. That's the beauty of it. How long has it been around for? How long? Like 1950s you've been kind of... Yeah, that's right. So basically the development of this style of cooking, our company's led the market in that whole development for that whole sector. So this is really our bread and butter. This style of cooking and this the development of this marketplace, we've really driven that on. So yeah, basically, as we're talking about there, key points, we've got all this support, tap into it, and we can hopefully help the people get the most out of the product. Right. We'll just do one last little dish just to give you an idea of some of the other ways, more at the more kitchen-led side. So we'll do a little dish with, let me see, we'll do a little salmon dish. So we'll just move the lasagna over there. So we will do. So this part is mainly like more kitchen led, more. Kind of more like. More kind of like brass. Brasserie style, that simple steps. Very simple food, but just to get an idea of. And again, if you were saying to me, look, that's the style of cooking we're going to do all day, every day, we would then be chat about other options within our range. But this is just to show you the principle of it. So what we'll do is I can see a lot of this in a starter section where just being busy pretty much all day doing little bits of the menu, adding, as well as doing the whole kind of like
like convenience food thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's worth it. The footprint's nothing, is it? I mean,
that's exactly it.
Bain Marie's bigger than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, and look what you're pulling out of it. So it's kind of, it's worth it. It's not going to be like the bread maker where it's going to live in the back of the cupboard, is it?
Yeah, that's the idea. It's very much, you know, and so do you want to do a bit of cooking then?
Oh.
There you are. So
dangerous.
So
is this the punishment for turning up
this
late?
Is the. So what we'll do is we've set up a little process. I've set up a little process earlier on, and we'll do a little brasserie style dish. Just on a multi-step type process. looks a bit medical.
No, it's fine. It's cool.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just get the wee spray oil. So if you want to have a wee look at what we're doing here, so we're going to do a little brasserie style dish with salmon, potatoes, peppers and asparagus and chorizo, okay? So over here, earlier on what I did was I set up a little profile, a little salmon profile there, which is going to step us through what we need to do. So, okay, so the first step, so what it's going to do, Matthew, so if you press the tick.
Product in oven tick. So if this,
read that.
Potato and peppers only onto mat.
Right, so if you put a handful of the potatoes up here.
Okay, right, yeah.
Right.
About there.
Maybe a couple more.
This is the true test of idiot proofness.
It is, that's why you're here.
Honestly, you know this.
And then if you just put maybe a red and a yellow.
A red.
That's fine, and an orange as well, why not? And just put a little bit of, give them a little spray with oil. And just spread them out. So
well, I feel a bit chefy now.
That's good. There you go. Little spray with oil, just lots on the peppers. That's fine. Okay,
cool. Yeah,
and then if you get your little paddle.
Just stand back. What am I doing now? Yeah, so I'll put them in first.
Put that in,
yeah. Hang on. Throw it in.
And then press the tick. Okay. So there we go. So the first step, what we're doing is, if we had that was our
I can leave that on there.
Yeah. So if that's our prep fridge, and we've got these little brasserie or starter style dishes with 2 or 3 components, step 1 is telling you exactly which component. So, you know, you could have a spec sheet for that dish. It's going to tell you what to do with the tray. We could have added onto that spray with oil as well, right? I would add that into the instruction.
Totally take all the elements of risk out of it.
So now if you come and see what it's saying there.
Add salmon to mat, skin down.
Yep, so don't tick it yet, just take it out and add that on, yep.
Alright, cool.
And then you can just... So you've got your
didn't say please, it didn't say please.
So if we just do that on there, okay. Pop that back in.
And that's skin down?
Yep, skin down.
Even I can, and I'll be more gentle with that. Good.
And then just press the tick.
Oh, I'm half a page in front, Paul.
Here we go.
I think I've just got another job. It's fast, isn't it?
So and this is
200 and something degrees in there.
Yeah,
it just
275. Yeah, that's it. That's the beauty of it.
I'd hate to melt my plastic gloves, but it's not danger of that, is it?
No, yeah.
So it's kind of on a 13 amp plug. So like energy wise, to create this in a restaurant, you know, conventionally.
There's your little read instruction.
Turn salmon and add asparagus.
Yep. So
I need to take it out and turn it, yeah?
Yeah, so just turn your salmon so it's skin side up. So, yeah, just give that a little turn over.
Will it go?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Have we not got like
just lift that and give it a wee turn. That's fine, leave that there.
That's good.
A little handful of the stripped, the ones that
the
are
one you
stripped,
just
a few of them.
Strips. What, just anywhere?
Yeah, and just a bit of oil onto them.
Christmas is coming up, guys. I'm cooking the Christmas starter. We're having salmon, potato and asparagus starter for our Christmas do, cooked by me. Okay, so press the button there.
Yeah. And now what it's doing, again, like we saw with all these processes before, behind the scenes, if you like, what that's doing is it's changing with every step how much microwave, how much fan speed.
Yeah, yeah.
So now that we've turned the salmon skin side up, if you have a look at what it's doing now, we're running 100% because we've turned it over. We put a little bit of heat in at the beginning, just take the chill off. But again, it's salmon, it's quite delicate. We're not wanting to really, we're not wanting to overdo it. So now we're up and we're trying to get the skin nicely finished, okay?
Okay, all right, cool. I ain't got long to go there, 7 seconds. Are we plating up after this then?
Yeah, so there's one more step with the chorizo and then we'll plate up, yeah.
I'm getting keen here.
I know.
Stand back.
So if you just put a
chorizo,
couple of slices, that's all, just maybe just pop.
Yeah, it's okay, that's all right. I've got it covered,
So we could put those just somewhere on the, just on like that or whatever. We won't need all three, but we'll put a couple, put the three on.
Yeah. And the press the tick.
Yeah, press the tick.
So yeah, energy efficient wise, I think on a 13 amp plug, and we've been knocking food out of this all morning.
Yeah.
It's not, it's yeah, plating up.
On you go. Give us a wee bit of artistic.
Artistic
so I'll get that
license. Okay, cool.
So give us a splash of that on it.
And
just express yourself.
Hang on a minute. I've seen them do it. I've seen them.
Oh, yeah, come on. Here's this guy.
No, I'm going to do it.
Give it a wee. Just get it loose and give it round the plate.
Get it like.
No, let me see.
Come on.
Let's enjoy ourselves here.
Oh, I didn't know I could be like that. I was trying to do an little artistic sort of flair there.
Right, okay. Let's enjoy ourselves. Right, there we go. Right, okay. And then, so if we bring that over.
Just do with a spatula really, but there we go.
Yeah, you've got your food gloves on, so just get a little handful of your...
What, the potatoes
first?
get
a little set of them in the middle.
Little pile, little stack.
And then let's have a look at, have we got a wee bit of colour onto the peppers? See, we have got a little bit, so maybe a little charred pepper or something. Those, look at that nice little corner. Something like that. Maybe another couple of potatoes. And there, look at that. And then a little bit of wee bit of chorizo or something. Little couple of bits of...
I think this is $12.50. This starts $12.50. Is it gone on the special?
19 quid, mate.
19 quid on the special board.
19 quid on the special board. There we are, and there we go. And that gives you a little.
That wasn't hard, was it? Really?
Wasn't hard. Now, time-wise, how long were we? We were 1 minute 50. In total, and that was stepping us through it with nice clear instructions as we went. That's the key thing, nice clear instructions, and it's very simple, 2 or 3 components. The settings in the background are changing, so some of those settings we're using quite a lot of microwave for the potatoes, get the heat into them. Then we're starting to use fan speed, but we weren't using it at first. We turned the thing over and then we turned it over and we get a nice kind of little dish. Which
well, I think we can tuck into that.
So I think that was most of the key work. Just to summarise then the type of things we've talked about very quickly. MerryChef, it's an accelerated cooking oven. So it sits at up to 275 degrees for us. So it's giving us oven cooking. It's then bringing in impinged air, which is forced air onto the food. So what's that doing for us? It's doing toasting. We saw that demonstrated. It's giving us beautiful colour onto the food. We saw the bacon get the nice crispy render on the fat, again because of the impinged air, so we're getting grilled and baked type. Then what we're doing is we're using the microwave as we go, so we're getting a little bit of time saving, we're getting a little bit of speed into the product through a bit of the microwave. But we're using that in a way it's gentle enough that we can also handle this. Also, we're doing multi-step cooking, so we're able to add little prompts in there as we go to build more kind of complex processes or more complex dishes as we've done there. Very, very simple to edit. We saw that. We did some little simple edits. We put notes on. You saw that in real time, taking 10, 15 seconds to do. But once it's done, like we did with that dish at the end, then it's one icon. You press the button and it will talk you or your staff through every step.
Step by step.
Okay. Effectively, that's the key thing. So we're thinking speed where we need it, thinking consistency of product, very simple to edit and very simple to operate. It gives us control of our menu and control of, you know, what we're doing, and it's very easy to then lift by the USB if we want to move to multiple sites. So I think that was most of the things
I think we've had a good do there.
So,
I think we've had a really good session. All it remains for me to do is thank Paul Burrows from Welbilt for bringing the machine in to show us. Any questions you've got at all, the team are more than happy to take your inquiries upstairs, and Paul is always on the other end of the phone, and hopefully thank you for a great session. Thank you for the team at CaterKwik again for setting this up. It's fantastic, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Cheers.